Okay, so I got another Bigfoot related piece of information to share with you. And this is about an incident that happened, and I'm not going to say reportedly happened because it did, because I was there and actually got to see this firsthand. This happened in the late summer of 2000, and you can see people talking about it still on some of the forums. There's a recreation of it on another YouTube channel, and this is called the Casino Footage, which actually took place on tribal land. I'll not get into the tribe or where it is because they don't want to be bothered with it anymore, but people are still talking about it, so I'm going to chime in on it a little bit. I've noticed on a person did a recreation of this for one of the documentaries, and the recreation's a good job as far as somebody that didn't see it firsthand. But I seen this footage firsthand. I'll say that I was one of very few people outside of the tribe that actually seen this footage firsthand. And what this footage is it is from a surveillance video outside of a casino. And without going real deep into the detail of that, I just want to focus on what that video showed. And like I said, I seen it. I didn't see it recreated or whatever. I saw it firsthand. So here's the way the layout of the land is up there. There's not a lot of wooded area around there. Matter of fact, the closest wooded area to where the footage was taken is several hundred yards away. There's no trees there. The recreation shows a tree in the parking lot. There's not any trees. Matter of fact, where it was, that parking lot's not even there anymore. There's like more buildings built on top of it. And I've been back a few times since then, but not to look at stuff like this. I've gone and seen some music concerts and stuff there, which they have, and they do it about all the casinos. If you're going to see some good shows, they really have them. But at this time, it had got out that they had what they were saying was a Bigfoot on surveillance video. And so me and a couple others, we went there to look into it, and here's what the video showed. So the first thing you see, and it's kind of jerky, it's in night vision type because it was in the AM, very dark. This thing comes walking across that parking lot from the prairie. Now it had to come across this plowed field, step over the fence to get into that parking lot. And what you see first was a little bit of a glow as it gets closer to this dumpster. Okay, I need to verify that. What it was doing was trying to open up this dumpster that they would put their old cooking grease in. And they had a lock on it where it couldn't get it open. But I do have pictures of that dumpster, as well as a picture of this creature's handprint in the grease on top of it. It's massive. Okay, so the first thing you see is this glow, and I've heard it on one of the forums that they were discussing it, that it was eye shine. I want to be very clear, this was not eye shine that you saw glowing. What it was is there are street lamps out there too, and what that glow was just the reflection of that street lamp off the top of this creature's head, or the hair on top of its head. So that's the first thing you see, is that glow, that reflection off the top of its head. And then it almost just materializes under the shorter street lamp that's right over this dumpster. And this lamp that was over the dumpster is probably about 12, 13 feet tall. And what it did is it walked up to this, and this is all that shows the video. This is all that I saw anyway, is it walks up to it and it leans over to put its hands on the top of this dumpster. And that's all it was. Now, what did the creature look like? It was not big, and it wasn't massively built. It was very tall and lanky. I've described it many times. Take a professional basketball player, how they're very tall, lanky, and muscular, and cover them in hair. And that's what you would have had right here. Now, the way it walked was not, the recreation, it kind of shamblingly walks. This thing moved very fluidly, just effortlessly. I call the way it walked, it glided practically up toward that dumpster as it leaned forward. Now, like I say, it wasn't a bulky build. It was very tall, lanky, muscular. The arms were long, not, disproportionately long like a monkey or something would be, but they did come down closer to the knees than what a person was. But now here's, somebody will say, well, how do you know it wasn't a person in some type of costume or whatever? Well, here's where we put that to rest. We were able to, with it standing just right under that shorter street lamp, we were able to measure up that street lamp and determine that its height was just over 9 feet tall. Now, to me, that kind of rules out somebody in a monkey suit. Okay, so that's, very shortly, that is what I saw on that video. Which brings up the question, what was it doing there? Because there's not a lot of woodland. Now, there is a river south of there that has had reports of a Bigfoot, Sasquatch type creature that goes all the way back to the late 50s into the 60s. Okay, so it's not unheard of there. But we were able to go out into the field it walked across. Like I say, it was very dry at this time. They had not been getting any rain. And the field behind it was very dry. It was plowed, but we was able to see its tracks going back towards that patch of trees that was, like I said, several hundred yards behind this casino. So it came from there up to there and attempted to get into the container, the dumpster, what it was, that was locked and full of cooking grease. So anyway, that is what I seen on that video. And if anybody watches this wondering about it, that's first-hand account. It's not second-hand information from anybody. I saw it firsthand, and that's as accurate as I can remember it. And that, you see something like that, it sticks in your mind. And I think, the subject of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, ever since I was a little kid, I've been interested. Never seen one firsthand. Now, I have found footprints and made casts of footprints. Matter of fact, I made casts of the thing in that video's footprints. They're not real clear, but you can see the size of them. And I'd say they're not real clear because it's in that crumbly, dry dirt of that plowed field, but they're like 17 inches long. So anyway, but when I saw that, and it just clicked in my head that, my goodness, these things really are real. So that had a pretty profound effect on me. It stopped being a mystery so much as that was verification that these creatures were real. What are they? That's a good question. I will tell you this, what I do not believe they are at all. I do not believe that they are simply an undiscovered species of ape or monkey. Do not believe that at all. I'm not in that frame of thought even slightly. My belief is, if it was an ape, when we see apes in the wild, whether it's in Africa or wherever, the orangutans of Sumatra and stuff, they find where they're at and they go and they study them. We have not been able to do that. People have tried and tried. Whatever these things are, they have to be smart enough to know that we're bad news, and they stay away from us for the biggest part, being seen pretty much accidentally once in a while. But no, I'll be very clear that I'm not in the group that thinks these things are an undiscovered ape, and I don't mean that in any way disrespectful to those that do. A long time ago, I had the opportunity to sit down. This was in Texas at a Bigfoot convention. Dr. John Bindernagel came down, and I had the privilege of getting him off to myself, and we sat at a table and we had a conversation for about 45 minutes. And Dr. Bindernagel, a lot smarter man than I'll ever be. He was of the mind that they were an undiscovered ape, and I bought his book about that, and he autographed it for me and all. And I totally respect anybody that is of that frame of mind. However, myself, I don't believe. I think there's a lot more to the story than it simply being ape. One is the Gigantopithecus theory. A lot of people say, well, it's a Gigantopithecus that's just evolved into this. And here's for anybody that's studied apes and evolutionary traits of all this going through, I would ask this question. You take they say Gigantopithecus lived up to about 30,000 years ago, if I'm remembering correctly. And from what they have determined from the fossil remains, the few fossil remains that they have, is that it's more akin to the orangutan. Now, an orangutan is not a bipedal creature. I mean, it can get up on its hind legs once in a while, but it doesn't do like a Sasquatch and walk away. So, on its hind legs. So, my thought would be, if it's a cousin of an orangutan, it would be quadruped most of the time, coming up onto its hind legs once in a while, as an orangutan does. They say about it evolving too. Okay, Sasquatch footprints, for the biggest part that we have seen, look like a giant flat-footed human, not like an ape's footprint. An ape has that really opposing big toe on their hind leg. Human footprints from 30,000 years ago look like human footprints today. What would have to take place with the Gigantopithecus to make them evolve from an ape foot to a human-looking foot? That's the problem I have with that theory, and I state that opinion in question with all due respect toward anybody that thinks differently. But that's just my personal thoughts on that. So what are they? I mean, you can check out other people's websites and get a whole different range of opinions, and make up your own mind. The fact is, we do not have the body of one. We don't have one in captivity to study, so we are all just taking educated guesses sometimes, trying to make sense of it. Now, what do I really believe? I believe that, you ask me what are they? What I believe they are is they are out there, and that's all I can say. Because I've seen the video of one, it tells me that they're out there, and I've seen the tracks of several and ever made casts of them. So yes, what are they? They are out there. Past that, I really don't know. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I added a little bit more of my opinions on that than I intended to on this video, so take it for what it's worth. Again, if you have a sighting or incident like this you would like to share, drop me an email at bigfootandmore@yahoo.com, or leave it in the comments. And if you like what I'm doing with this YouTube channel, then don't forget to share and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos later. And again, thank you for watching.